What's up, YouTube? Trying to cut me got one of these 2-inch dowels here from Home Depot. I need to cut a couple of roundovers for the inside of my port. That way I got a little loading wall on the inside about 20 some odd inches from the bottom of the baffle up where the top of the inside of the port is. I'm going to hit these roundovers on the inside, top and bottom of the port there. That way everything's coming out. At least it's got a little bit of a nice smooth edge to come around on the inside of that port there. See if I can't get a little bit more wind coming out of that box. Okay, so this was my 2-inch round dowel that made my line on, split it. This is what I'm going to wind up putting inside of the box here, inside of the port. So I'll take you over, show you what we got. Bear with me here for a minute. I'm not a genius with this camera. Alright, so here's the back of the beast. This is my access port. Get inside of the box. Let my old ass climb up in here. So here's what we got. That's where the bottom of the loading wall is down here. So I'm going to put that round over right across here. That's the port going out to the truck up there. Or I should say in here. That's where everything's going out. So I'm going to run that round over on the inside right here. Right across that bottom right there. And then thinking about doing the same thing right there across the top. Putting the other second half of that piece right there. That way everything that, I ain't got much room up here. Anything that hits up on the ceiling up there. And down here I'm also going to take and put a 45. I won't got a lot of room for a big one because the woofers don't give me a lot of space between the loading wall here, and I know it's hard to see, but I'm going to put a 45 right there, so everything that's coming out towards the port will just ramp up that 45, get over that round over right there, and I may end up putting round overs on these sides right here too, maybe. There's not a whole lot of room for 45s. I could, but I'll decide on that after I get done here. And back here, if I turn you around, hold on. Right up here above where, these are my back ports, right up here at the ceiling. I'm gonna put a 45 up here all the way across from one side to the other. So it'll almost be just like in the front up there. So if there's not room for a 45 because there's only 1.5 inches up there, I'll put that 2-inch round over piece up there, cut it down again just to fit, and that should smooth out those edges coming out of the port right there, especially with the 45. Should make things a little bit nicer, but everything fits in there good. So, and that port's all solid, everything's locked in good, so I just got to get rid of them sharp edges. So that's what we're going to work on now. Okay, so now I got it cut. I pre-drilled some holes. I got these heavy duty 2-inch SPAC screws I'm using here. So now I'm going to take some PL and I'm going to PL the back of this thing. And then I'm going to muster myself up inside of that box there and get this bad boy installed. With these screws, I don't need a ton of PL on here. It's going to mash out once I tighten it up against the inside of that box. I don't want a crap ton of it just spewing out all over the place. myself that time. It's always a plus. Okay, so I'm back. Hopefully you can see now I got this round over here installed. Right up here, it meets flush at the top of the port. Well, this is the bottom of the port, but it meets flush and it's rounded. It's that half a dowel right there that I cut. I PL'd the back side of it, and I used 2-inch spack screws all the way through the solid loading wall, which is 3 layers thick. So I know that sucker's attached really good. And next I'm gonna cut a 3-inch piece of flat, and I'll put 45s on it, and I'll lay that in there on the bottom. So like I said, all the wind will ramp up there, and I don't know if this dowel is going to slow the wind down or not. I mean, there was a sharp edge there before, and now it's round, so it may hurt, it may help, I don't know, but we're going to try it and see what happens. I know what kind of wind I had before, and now I got a little bit more power coming out of my amps. I think my subs are broke in a little bit more. I'm just going to start adding a few things, small things inside this box here to try to make a difference. I don't want to take away too much of my airspace. I did there's a 6th order tuned 23 in the lower chamber and 46 in this upper chamber here. So for these 12-inch jokers, it's a 1500 watt 3-inch coil. I did 2 cubes per on the bottom, so I got 8 subs. I got 16 cubes on the bottom. I got 20 cubes in the top chamber here, so it's 2 on the bottom and 2.5 per on the top. So I did mess with that port quite a bit when I first turned this thing on a few months ago, before I ripped it apart again and started changing things around. And that size of the port, how it's blocked in right there, gave me the best bandwidth that I was looking for to keep me playing from about 15 hertz up to mid 60s, almost 70. I think I played up to about 68, 69. It was still playing halfway decent, where it was shaking the hell out of the truck a little bit, but I don't listen to anything that high anyways. I just wanted to have some good bandwidth. I may end up blocking that port down just a little bit more, but we'll see what happens. I'll have to re-epoxy some things if I add anything on the sides. I won't take anything off of the height of the port because it ends up changing it too much. This is 812, so I think I got like 904 inches of cone area, or square inches, however. I ain't a brainiac when it comes to math, so we went half of that at about 450, and then I took it down to, I think I got the port is dialed in right now at 420 is right where it's at. So for all the 420 guys out there, no, there wasn't anything subliminal behind it. I ran this port all the way down to 375 and I lost a lot. I got one of them little mini meters here I was checking some things with, and I lost a bunch on the highs. It was kind of getting weak in that 40, high 30, 40-ish hertz range. So I brought the port back to the 420. Slowly I just started adding the pieces on the side, as you can see right there, and the extra piece on the top where it's labeled. Same thing on the other side. That's how I wound up getting to that 420 that it's at now. But I had a lot more of this port blocked in before. I mean, I had another 8 inches of that port blocked off, and that took me down. I think it was like 370, 375, but it didn't seem to like it as much. So I opened it back up a little bit and then re-epoxied the 2 side layers. But with this port being 40.5 inches wide, it's only 10.5, what is it, 10, 11, something odd inches tall, I don't remember now. anything I take off horizontally makes a massive change. So the only way I can make small changes is just to add verticals in this way on both sides in order to be able to make small changes to the port at a time. So anyways, I'm going to go cut these cut this 45 for the bottom there, and then one for the upper back part back here I showed you before, and try to get them installed this evening here. It's getting kind of late. It's probably around 10 o'clock already, so I got work tomorrow, so I don't plan on working too late, but see if I can't get a couple more things done here. I'm happy I got that round over installed, and then I probably am going to put some things on the side over here because I don't like how I stopped it where I did, but I didn't want to run it all the way to the wall just because I'm still thinking about putting some kind of little 45 maybe off of the edge right there. I may just put a 45 and block that in, which is why I kind of stopped that just a little bit past the edge of the port right there. It gives me a little bit of play space still where I could still do some more modifications. I am pleasantly pleased this evening. We got the round over in on the port. I got a 45 in on the bottom. About to show you guys here in a second. And I got the one cut for the top back, but my back's killing me from trying to get in and out of this access port here and lay on top of these subs here, man. I'm getting old, so 47 ain't 27 anymore. So doing the best I can, trying to get it done. I'll finish the rest of this stuff in the morning, or once I get done with a little bit of work tomorrow afternoon, and button this box back up. Okay, got the 45 in and the round over now. Jump back up in here. So y'all saw already how I did that. Put that round over in up here. Now I put in a 45. It goes all the way from that side straight on over to that side. All I need to do is get some more PL tomorrow. I had PL'd the back side of this already, so you can hear how damn solid it is. I used a piece of 3/4 on this. I'm just gonna PL that little gap, and my cuts are pretty tight. I freehand everything, but I'm pretty good making straight lines and following them with the circular saw. I don't need a straight edge to go across, so everything's pretty tight all the way across. And on the ends where it fits up against the wall, I mean, that's really tight. I had to kind of whack it in there a little bit. That's not a gap, that's just my marker line up there that you see a little bit. You can kind of see it right there. There's no gap up there. Everything, I cut 45s on both sides of this piece right here, and it's all really solid. I'm just gonna fill the top just to make sure nothing can get behind that. I know this box gets pretty violent, so I don't want to have any air get trapped behind that thing for any reason. So now all the air should come forward, ramp straight up here, catch that round over, smooth itself, and hopefully create a little bit more wind coming out of the front there. And then I'll put this one up in the top back behind me here over these rear ports tomorrow once I get this PL picked up in the morning. And then we should be in good shape, man. I'm gonna button the box back up, and I think I'll be done in here, other than I do got a couple fans. It gets kind of hot in this box, and now that I got that sub temp gauge up there on the dash, kind of hard to see right now, but it's all the way up there, that happy sub temp. I've only got the one sub on there right now, which is this one right here, because they didn't have the one I was looking for when I got that. Anyways, so I put it on this one here, and then I've got my meter gun. I checked the rest of these subs before I put it on this one, and they were all within 2 to 3 degrees of each other. So I know for a fact when this one starts giving me a reading, all the other ones are really close. So I'm okay with that for right now. It's not optimal. I'll end up getting the 8 sensors, or 7 more I should say, to mount on the rest of these. That way I can truly keep an eye on them, but I got to replace that unit up there in the front and everything. I found out today to be able to do that because it's not compatible. So anyways, I'm going to get the rest of this finished up in the morning, and then I'll get this access port sealed back up here. It's just big enough for me to fit my big ass in. I'm 6'4", 200 pounds, so, and kind of wide up in the top. So for me, that's just enough. I can kind of cock my body a little bit sideways to climb in there and make it work. You can tell from that 12-inch sub there's only a couple inches of room on each side, and I'm a hell of a lot wider than a 12-inch sub. So anyways, that's where we're at for today. We'll be back to get the rest of this thing finished off tomorrow.